Fitting that the 5-year anniversary of Warzone produced our first look at Season 3 and finally gave some confirmation as to what's to come when it gets here. Verdansk is indeed returning, and today we got a bit of confirmation of other areas of content coming, so we're breaking that all down in this one. Drop your thoughts, drop a like, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 and other FPS coverage. Been having a blast talking about other games recently as well, with more variety still upcoming, don't worry. And also, make sure to check out the second channel, where we're making a push to consciously upload more and more to that, with basically any other game that piques my interest. I'm excited to share reviews, guides, and playthroughs of basically anything else. So if you'd like to join that community, love to have you out over there as well. But for now, let's get into Verdansk. So today, the 5-year anniversary. Crazy that it's already been 5 years of Warzone, and honestly, 5 years in general, since like COVID and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this has been the fastest 5 years ever. But in the 5-year anniversary of Warzone, we did get a new teaser trailer for Verdansk's return and the confirmation that it would be coming here on April 3rd with the launch of the previously delayed Season 3. Now, there are a few things to note here with this, but with the trailer you'll see in the background, of course, it's important to remember this is a CG trailer. It's not in-game engine footage or like actual captured from straight PlayStation or PC. It's all a pre-rendered cinematic and looks incredible because of this. It would be really sick if the gameplay did look this clean, but it won't. Just know that going in. But of this, we can end up seeing a few details that we may have missed. Notably, of course, all the different distinctions of the map locations and everything like that. The most, I think, insightful of this is the final sequence where you have that large pan at the end of the trailer from the perspective of the prison spires. Here, you can end up seeing off in the distance the port of Verdansk, farmland, Tvorsk district, stadium, notably with the roof closed, all the way out to dam if you want to look that far, hospital, and the edges of promenade. It looks to be about 1-to-1 with what we saw with the original Verdansk, or maybe slightly into the year of support throughout Modern Warfare 2019. One interesting thing, though, is that, of course, there's a lot of different areas on fire. Vacant in port, stadium roof, an apartment complex in downtown, smoke from the museum skyscraper, and buildings along the edge of the river channel. Those we don't know if they're cinematic for the trailer itself or actual set pieces we'll see in-game that when we drop in on April 3rd, if those places will be on fire, if they are smoking, and that's actually part of it. Personally, I'm more so leaning towards this just being part of the cinematic, but we don't actually know. Also seen throughout this trailer was the OG Gulag showers. Can't have OG Verdansk without the OG Gulag returning, so that's cool. But other things you may have missed here come down to a code sequence seen in the very beginning of this on the Humvee, which, firstly, yes, the Humvee is in the current Warzone from that current iteration, and we're not seeing the sort of OG SUV, it seems like, at this point, unless it is there, just not showcased in this trailer. But on that Humvee, there's the number listed of 87624851, which is interesting because that was the code sequence for one of the underground bunkers off by Boneyard that was a part of the pawn takes pawn marketing strategy here, where you were able to input that code and actually open up one of the subsections of Verdansk. Now, whether or not this is a hint towards these returning at launch in Season 3, we don't know, but it is an interesting little Easter egg here thrown into this little trailer and cinematic. We do, of course, see new weapons throughout this, where we have the reveals explicitly in this trailer of the Kilo and the HDR. Previously, it was, air quote, leaked in a marketing video for COD to have the CR56 AMAX, but that was interesting because it was an official video, but it was probably made with the intention of being released before the delay of Season 3. That, had it not been delayed, it would have already been announced at that point, where it wouldn't have been a brand new reveal, but because of that delay, that new marketing video was like a, wait a minute, you weren't supposed to see that type of scenario. New operators, we did see that Domino is going to be coming back, it seems like, here, returning with this as previously rumored. And of course, from the trailer, as we see, the vehicles of the Little Bird are showcased. Now, whether or not that is, again, a set piece or it's actually something that the original helicopter from Verdansk is returning, we don't quite know just yet, but would be definitely really cool to see that return with the same flying mechanics, because the helicopter we have right now, that light helo, still isn't exactly the same as what you may be used to from the OG Verdansk experience and the sort of mechanics that came along with Modern Warfare 2019. Beyond that, we also did see that we have in-game the countdown to Verdansk actually starting once again, kind of being a throwback and homage to that original tile slice from Modern Warfare 2019, though of course not necessarily the exact same thing that we had back then, but it showcases that real-life timer to when we end up seeing the map launch with Season 3, and there are a few top-down perspectives you can see kind of in the background, one of which showcases a zip line in the frame of Skyscraper in downtown Verdansk. So seemingly hinting at we will see at least some of these zip lines here coming, which were added later on, not in the OG Day 1 Verdansk, but a little later on down the line, which personally speaking, I think were nice. A lot of these sort of high areas of the OG Verdansk weren't exactly optimized for some decent outplay mechanics. It was truly just funneling into one area, which never was fun. And yes, I know there's going to be some purists that are like, well, it should be OG Verdansk, take those out, but also, I think it's better for the gameplay flow. I'm not asking to add things based off of this if we're going back to a certain point in Verdansk. I'm not asking for like the redeploy balloons or anything like that, but adding a zip line to at least add another angle of approach I think is good for the health of the gunplay and engagements you'll end up encountering. But that was what was added in as of today, but we also got some other reports which are interesting, where the Ghost of Hope hinted a few new details, smaller, but still interesting for Verdansk and its return. The first of which was no water in Verdansk, which makes sense, but also very curious on how that will work. The only water that was ever in Verdansk was in the southern edge of the map on the sort of sea line there, where that was something that if you touched it, you died instantaneously, but you could fly out of bounds a little bit with a sort of out of bounds timer. But will that be something that allows you to extend past that if there is no swimming, or how will that work? Additionally, it's also rumored the Growl will be coming apparently in Season 3 Reloaded or Season 4. Personally speaking, if we're talking about Modern Warfare content coming for nostalgia in a Black Ops game, I think that keeping it all housed within Season 3 is probably the better play, but also, I'm not the one making the big bucks, so it's not necessarily my call. I think if we were to continue to bring nostalgia weapons in, bring in Season 4 a weapon or two from Cold War integrations in that year of support, because otherwise having throwback crossovers beyond just one season, I mean, at that point, if you did a throwback season for Season 4 as well with Modern Warfare content, well then half of the DLC weaponry for Black Ops 6, because we have to remember, this does also extend to the paid experience in Black Ops 6, half of the DLC weapons would then be Modern Warfare weapons in a Black Ops game. So, a choice, interesting one for sure, but we'll have to wait and see. And finally, it was mentioned Verdansk map updates, new and returning, are planned throughout Black Ops 6 seasons and beyond, potentially to keep people interested. They're not going to keep the map as the OG March 2020 version forever, in which case that I think is kind of understandable. Keep it fresh, keep it new, and at a faster pace than what we had back in 2020 and in 2021. But I'm curious to see at what pace and where we'll go, how quickly we'll go through those things. Like, is it once per season? Is it going to go just from the versions of Verdansk we've seen in the past? Or are they going to add brand new portions to the maps? We'll have to wait and see, but another interesting little tidbit here that may shine some light on the future. Now, that is what we learned as of today. I'm very surprised we didn't actually get more for the 5-year anniversary. No sort of in-game celebration or anything like that, but that is what we had today. Personally, I'm looking forward to playing Verdansk again. Said that from day one of the rumor of it returning. Would I have preferred something new like Avalon? Probably, but if this is the reality of what's happening, which it very clearly is, I'll still take it. After a year and a half on Urzikstan, I think any change is welcome to just spice things up a bit. I will say it again, though. I'm excited to play Verdansk. For me, and likely a lot of people, though, it will probably just be a novelty thing here, where it's fun, but I'm not expecting this to air-quote save Warzone or anything like that, because you're not going to capture the essence of Modern Warfare 2019's OG Verdansk and launch. I'd love for that to happen, but it's fundamentally a different game at this point. Mechanically, pacing, matchmaking, Knowledge base wise, I mean, that's one of the biggest things here. One of the beautiful parts about Verdansk and OG Warzone was the fact that nobody really knew what they were doing. We were all figuring out at the same time. First season or two of Verdansk, there was no meta. It was just kind of everybody screwing around, having fun, and all that kind of stuff. Still learning the best approaches to situations, outplays, flanks, learning the map as a whole. The ins and outs still were being discovered by everybody in real time. By the time this version launches, most players coming back or still playing Warzone likely had about 2 years of knowing and understanding Verdansk at its core under their belt. That skill floor is going to be raised so much higher than what it was on March 10th of 2020. So my best advice here with this one, try to have fun with it. If you don't, it's okay. Verdansk and OG Verdansk were a happy chapter in a lot of our lives, got us through a lot of dark times and maybe points where it seemed like the world really went to all hell with COVID and the lockdowns and everything like that. It's okay if it doesn't reach that same level of happiness and joy that it brought you. That was part of what made that era special, and you'll remember those nights spent gaming with the homies because of that. So try to enjoy it. If it doesn't hit that level for you, no harm, no shame in admitting that, and then just moving on to play something else that does make you happy. That's the biggest thing with games, man. It's supposed to be an outlet that you enjoy. So you have a player have the most power. If you don't like it, don't play it. It's totally fine. Personally, I'm expecting to have some fun novelty revisiting Verdansk here, but I'm not necessarily expecting it to rope me back in and get me addicted once again, because fundamentally, it's a different game, and that's fine. For some people, not for others, it is what it is. But anyways, that's what we learned here on the 5-year anniversary of Verdansk, a confirmation of it returning here April 3rd with the launch of Season 3, and a handful of other things. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think here of this reveal and teaser for Verdansk? Looking forward to jumping back in. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so almost a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6 and a lot of other FPS content, both here on the channel and over on the second channel with a lot of other stuff. So if you'd like to join either of those communities, I'd love to have you. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.